chicken filling. No chopping and finely dicing onions. No finely chopping coriander. No finely chopping mint leaves. No finely slicing spring onion. No finely slicing green chilies. A new way to make samosa filling, saving you labor and time. Hi guys, and welcome to Salim's Kitchen. For this recipe, you will need a blender. So in your blender, add in 5 medium onions, 10 green chilies. You can reduce the chilies for less heat. Half a bunch of mint leaves, 1 bunch of spring onion, 1 bunch of coriander, and 2 cups of water. Now blend this to a fine paste. Now that we have blended it into a fine paste, in a medium-sized pot, add in 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 1 kg of chicken mince meat, 1 tablespoon of ginger and garlic paste, 2 tablespoons of mixed masala. Mixed masala have all the ground spices mixed together. I will leave the recipe in the description box. 3 teaspoons of salt. Now add in the paste. Now we are ready for cooking. You must cook it on high heat. Now all you have to do is, once it starts cooking, mix it occasionally, and whilst you are mixing, the chicken mince will break down. We will cook it mixing occasionally until all the water dries out. After 10 minutes, you can see most of the water dried out. And after 15 minutes, you can see all the water dried out. This is when you know the filling is ready, nice and moist and not dry. And the end result is the same, absolutely aromatic, flavorful, and tasty. Now cover and allow it to cool down. To make unified, neat, all the same size samosa pastry strips, you will need cardboard measurements to help you do this. The first measurement is a square, which is 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. This is to cut and shape out the rolled out sheet. The second measurement is to cut out the samosa pastry strips. It's 30 centimeters in length by 6 centimeters in width. In a big enough mixing bowl, add in 4 cups or 500 grams of all-purpose wheat flour, 3 teaspoons of salt. Mix in the salt with the flour. And form a big well like this. Now add in 280 milliliters of water, little at a time, to form a dough. This is normal tap water or lukewarm water, not ice cold water. Now, the best way to form your dough without making a mess is to mix the flour and water together until the water is absorbed. And push the mixed portion one side. Now repeat this process with the remaining of the water. And when mixing the flour and water, do not press, very gently, because all we are doing is mixing the flour and water together. Once you have added in all the water and completed this process, you will end up with wet lumps like this. Now, all you have to do to form your dough is simply fist it down, lift, and fist, lift, and fist, and continue doing this until your dough is formed. And there you have it, the best and easiest way to form your dough without making a mess. Now we have to knead this dough for at least 1 minute. How to knead your dough? Hold it down with one hand and use your fist to tear open the dough and bring it back together. Repeat this process for at least 1 minute. Now, kneading the dough gives you a well textured dough. Once you have kneaded it well, you will end up with a beautiful, well-textured dough like this. If for some reason your dough ends up sticky, mix in a little dry flour. And if it ends up a bit dry, mix in a little water. Now cover your dough and rest it for 10 minutes. Add some dry flour onto your work table to prevent sticking. After 10 minutes of resting the dough, divide the dough into 2 equal pieces. And roll out each piece into a long cylinder. The length of the cylinders must be 35 centimeters long. Now cut out 5 centimeters size pieces. You can use a ruler to measure. Now turn all the pieces into discs by simply rolling it back into a cylinder shape, gently rolling it back. Then lift it up and simply press it down to form your disc. Once all your discs are formed, add dry flour like this onto your work table and set your discs on top. This will prevent them from sticking to your work table. Now we are going to roll out the discs into roties. If you cannot roll fast, keep them covered to prevent drying. For rolling, add a little dry flour on both sides of the disc to prevent sticking and press it out a bit like this using your fingers. Now we can start rolling, and when you're rolling, if it sticks to the rolling pin or the work table, simply add some dry flour to prevent sticking. And there you have it. Our first roti is rolled out. The size of the roti must be 25 centimeters if you measure from the center. Add some dry flour on one side of your work table and set your rotis on top to prevent sticking. Now that all our rotis are rolled out, we will be using vegetable oil to layer them into stacks of 7. Make sure to oil your rotis well. Do not leave any dry spots. Set your layered stack on top of dry flour to prevent sticking. Now that we have oiled and layered them in stacks, we are going to roll each stack into a sheet. Gently add dry flour like this on both sides to prevent sticking. Now gently press it out like this on both sides. This will help set the rotis so they don't slide when you are rolling. Always work with dry flour to prevent sticking. Using a heavier rolling pin to roll out the sheet is recommended. Do not press and roll. Let the weight of the rolling pin do the job for you. Roll a little like this. Turn it over. Roll a little. Work with the dry flour to prevent sticking. Now turn it over by holding the two edges like this. This will help you shape it into a square when rolling it out. And continue this process until your rolled out sheet is slightly bigger than your sheet measurement. Use your measurement to check when to stop rolling. Once you have rolled it out slightly bigger than your measurement, cut out the edges, shaping it into a perfect square sheet. Now use your strip measurement to cut out the strips. For toasting, you must toast them in a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius. Set them onto your baking tray by folding it gently like this and set it onto your inner fingers like this. Now transfer it to the baking tray and gently unfold it. This method prevents the strips from stretching. Now place your tray more towards the upper element in the oven. Allow it to toast for 3 minutes or once bubbles starts to appear. After 3 minutes, turn them over. And toast them for 20 seconds. And after 20 seconds, the samosa pastry strips are toasted. Immediately transfer them into a damp cloth like this and cover to prevent drying. Now repeat this process with the second stack. Once they cool down slightly, you can either separate them if you prefer or separate them whilst filling. This saves you time as they separate very easy. For the sticking paste, add in 4 tablespoons of flour into a mixing bowl. Add water as required. Mix to form a nice thick paste. Here you can see how easy the strips separate. Beautiful samosa strips, beautiful texture, and you can see how thin it is. How to fold a samosa. First, you need to form a pocket. So pick the left corner and place it in the center. You will get an overlap on the right, like that. Now fold it over and line it up to the left, just like this. And place your thumb on the overlap. This will hold the pocket in place so you can open the pocket and now add in the chicken filling. Push your filling down so it sits in tight, not loose. Now you always need to press it here at the beginning so it makes it easy for the next fold over. So you will fold it over and line it to the right. Make sure the corners are closed and fold over and line it to the left. Again, one fold over, line it to the right. Last fold over before applying sticking paste. Over and line it to the left. Now apply the sticking paste. And complete the folding. Gently press it down so it sticks well. And there you have it. Our first samosa is made, and this is how you fill a samosa. Perfectly filled. You can see the corners are all closed. Here you can see I am separating the strips whilst filling, and you can see how easy they separate. This way saves you a lot of time instead of separating them before filling. Once your samosas are ready, you can shallow fry them in vegetable oil. I made around 2 dozen of samosas, but this recipe will give you 70 samosas, and you will be left with extra chicken filling, which you can store in a fridge for up to 1 week. The samosas and pastry strips can be put into freezer bags, or you can cling wrap them and store in a freezer for up to 6 months. The samosa strips must be packed in small batches, around 24 strips at a time, and when required, remove them from the freezer, allow to fully thaw out, and microwave them for 2 minutes. It will be as good as the day you made them. Only add in the samosas when the oil is hot. Turn them occasionally so they fry evenly on both sides. And once they turn golden brown in color like this, you can remove them. Now you can see after all the hard work, the end result looks amazing and unified. All are the same size, and the pastry came out beautiful and thin and crispy. So guys, I hope you enjoy making your own samosas from start to finish. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Until my next video, stay blessed and peace out.